Happy New Year, Jake.
Happy New Year, buddy. Good to be back. How you doing?
I'm refreshed. I'm ready to roll. I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff happening here. Big content this year.
It's the content year.
Content year is happening.
Space content creators just wringing their hands for 2025.
Rejoice.
Lots of stuff going to happen.
I will have you know that it took me 50 seconds of this show to spill beer on my desk this year. So that is christened.
I beat you because I spilled in our preamble before you go live. So yeah, I'm at negative 50 seconds.
We're killing it. We're killing it.
And I have an appointment after this episode, and I'm gonna walk in there with like brandy all over my
Beer smell. Oh, brandy, nice. Wow, look at this. Mead still not ready. Is the mead ready? How's the mead doing?
It's getting close. We're getting close. I'm bottling a batch in like 2 weeks, and so that'll be a tasting opportunity. And there's a chance that one's ready. It's not 100%, but it's much better than the 0% the other ones were. So.
How are the other living beings in your house dealing with the mead journey?
It's fine. It doesn't actually take up making mead. Mostly just waiting. Yeah, it doesn't really take up a lot. You like get up on a weekend and you spend like an hour doing one, and then you put it in a closet, and then like a month later you come back and check on it. You know, there's not a lot of touch time. So.
I hope that everyone in your house shares that opinion.
I'd say the thing that bothers my wife the most is that I'm always like collecting like bottles from wine or beer or whatever that I made, and like trying to get the labels off and stuff. So like that's happening, and then I'm not very good at it. So usually she like takes it from me and she's like, "I'll just do it." And so she's always like scraping labels off in this thing from old wine bottles and stuff.
I love it. But you're not drinking that today. What do you have? What you got?
I made a lot of eggnog over the holidays, so I had a little bit of brandy left. This is Azteca de Oro, so I got a little. It's pretty dark stuff.
That is dark, really dark.
It's good. It's strong though. This is adult drinks.
I've got.
This liquor's not for kids.
No, it's not. I have a beer from the Hop Cartel. Do you know about this? I've never known about this. El Cinco.
It
appears. I just looked at the back. It appears as if this is from El Dorado, Idaho. So, nope, it's not. That's the hops line. Oh, that's bad typography on here. That's part of the line for hops. El Dorado, Idaho 7.
Oh yeah, El Dorado hops.
Where am I drinking from? Oh, just Westchester. Okay, this is close by. But I got it because it's Marzi colored, and something about a cartel gave me like JPL cartel vibes, and I would like to investigate the cartelliness of the Mars sample return drama with you towards the end of the show. So this is the one that jumped out to me.
I thought you were going to go the whole Mexico route with me. You got a Calavera on there, everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean that obviously, yes.
Yeah.
So soon to be part of my country, along with most of North America.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a good time on the beach of the Gulf of America this holiday. It was nice. So. Yeah.
We don't need to get into it. I just will say I'm so into this Greenland thing. So.
There's gonna be too much pushback on that after he makes Ozempic really expensive. So yeah.
We're not getting into it. We have so many things to talk about.
No. We do have a lot of things to talk about.
We have to recap our 2024 predictions. We have to make 2025 predictions and debate Mars sample return happenings. I think we'll do it in that order.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't have to exhaustively go through 2024, but maybe we can call out the good
highlight
ones.
reel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starship makes orbit in 2024 was the first thing we wrote down. And Joe, this was Joey Barnard, right? Was the only one who took a position and said it would make orbit. I don't think either of us took a position on this.
What's funny about that one is that I think that if we did take a position on that, it was because we thought that it wouldn't fly. And then what actually happened was it flew a whole bunch. It just never went to orbit.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone had that one on the bingo card.
You can gatekeep whether it made orbit or not.
Yeah.
That's just like this is a Discord argument waiting to happen.
It is. Yeah. We've had it lots. Yeah. It's a sore subject now.
Vulcan first launch. We all thought it would work. We got that right enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
was
right
pretty
enough?
Good. Yeah.
We have one that says life is discovered, and Eric Berger says
Yeah.
yes. I don't think he said that. I think we did it because of that article he wrote at the beginning of the year. Do you remember that article?
I don't remember that one.
It was a JWST like biosignatures.
Oh,
something.
okay. All right.
Yeah, it was this article. James Webb Space Telescope hasn't found life out there, at least not yet. And it was like very leaning into maybe, like probably did. So that's a good one.
Oh, Eric. Good.
Do you have any favorites? The Dream Chaser one was my favorite.
The
Because
Dream
none of
Chaser
us
one
got
was pretty
anything
funny.
right. And I think
Yeah, we were all way off. Yeah.
but we might want to just carry these over.
we were like in the nuts and bolts of like what that flight would look like. Oh yeah, it's gonna like land, but it's not gonna make it to the runway. It's gonna make it to the ISS, then it's gonna berth. Oh no, it's not gonna berth. Like all these details we were like stressing over.
But I think that's why I like it. It's so detailed that I'm gonna copy it and put it in our 2025 predictions.
Love it.
Because Eric said it would fly, but it didn't land on the runway.
Yeah.
I said it would fly and make it to the ISS, but
no, it does not.
So
make
Eric,
it to the ISS.
oh right, okay. Eric said it does fine, but it doesn't land on the runway. I said it doesn't make it to the ISS, but it does land on a runway. So it does like a Starliner, and then you just said
I
it
went
would
all in.
be fine in the back half of 2024.
Yeah.
So
I just thought.
But we have you down for works, right? Dream Chaser works, and then Eric and I were taking those other weird odds. So I'm copying that over. While I do that, please try to explain why I typed into this document U.S. Space Force Daddy Letter. Next bullet point, Eric Berger says the letter is mailed. Please try to understand what was happening. Where were we?
Was this NSSL stuff? This is my best guess, because we were trying to like figure out if they were going to award that year, and he was like, "The letter's in the mail. It's coming." That's my best guess.
But didn't he send a letter to?
The funny
to tell
thing
them
is
to
that
do better.
We could just go watch our own damn show and answer all these questions, but instead we just stumble in here and we don't do our homework. And we just guess. It's funny.
I don't know why I ever wrote that down, to be honest.
But Daddy Space Force is now a meme that we use a lot, so it's worth it.
Yeah, it was.
It's worth
it was some Space Force general, but I don't know why we were debating on the method of communication. Very odd. Anyway, the one that we did the best on was Eric Berger setting the over-under for Starship flights at 4.5. And I took the over and you took the under. And they ended up...
Yeah, that was actually the correct, yeah.
He nailed it. He nailed it, yeah.
Huh. Was it 4 last year? No, it was 5 last year, wasn't it?
Was it 5?
Oh, you're right, it's 4.
No,
you're right, it was 4. Because 2 was 2 than the year before. So 2, then 4,
yep.
And now we're coming up on 7, right? Yeah, all right.
Nailed it. He's like a bookie. Eric Berger, the bookie. Yep. All right, let's get on to the 2025 ones. The rest of that was like clip stuff would happen. I don't know. Most of them were whatever.
The MSR one, we have to do that one just for preview.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Eric says not launching before 2030, and the over/under on helicopters was 1.5. Eric and I both said under.
We think that's true.
Yeah.
But
as it stands today, which is not very standy. Yes.
I guess the Intuitive Machines one. Eric said the Intuitive Machines that they would not land. You said it would land, and mine says that I said soft landing. So I think I threaded that needle correctly. And breaking news, I tweeted this shortly before the show started. Turns out that Intuitive Machines IM-1, we knew, I was on this beat of it being super low to the lunar surface when they first came into lunar orbit. We now know it was as low as 1.3 kilometers above the surface for what seems like a long time.
That's wild. That is and 1.3 kilometers, and you said the topography was already at 500 meters, right? So that was like only an 800 meter margin.
It was 500 meters under the reference radius for the lunar, for the moon. So 1737.4 kilometers is the reference radius for the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But local topography will go above and below that. and that
Gotcha,
spot was
gotcha.
500 below. So yes, so from the reference radius, they were only 800 meters above what would be classified as the moon, and
As
they
rock.
got an additional 500 meters of help from the lunar surface. So
Jeez.
crazy. All right, 2025, Jake. I put some categories in here. You can pick where we want to start. I've got SpaceX, I've got moon landers, I've got new rockets and constellations and acquisitions. You pick.
Well, let's do the easy ones, which are like the rocket counts and stuff. Those ones they feel very. It's like it's the work of the prediction show.
Okay.
we gotta chew through just the numbers stuff.
All right. SpaceX says that they're going to fly, or I should say Elon Musk, I think, is the one that said this figure, right? That they're going to fly more than 180 times in 2024.
They only did like 130 something this year. 134. Is that what it was?
I don't know the exact number. It was something in that range, and that was with, as we'll talk about, 3 different mishap/issues that did hold them up for a little bit of time.
Yeah. I think it was 134 because didn't Eric mention that in his article that it was the same number of flights of the space shuttle, but in 1 year?
That's right. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was the stat. That's the stat to take out of 2024. Yeah, 180. That's good. That's a good one.
Because they picked
3
it up down the
mishaps.
stretch.
They did.
Yeah.
We always come back to the problem with the Falcon predictions. You always come back to like, is this the year that Starship puts up, 25 Falcons worth of Starlinks in one or two goes or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. We're within a week of flying Starlink simulators out the Pez dispenser door.
Yeah. I suspect that for the time being, they don't slow down on Falcon Starlink. Just because, just math. It's like if you add Starship, also add Falcon, like you're growing so fast, you may as well just do it all, right? Like get every vehicle flying all the time while you can, right? At least until they clear out the factory of those old spacecraft. But I don't know how many old like Falcon-sized Starlinks are they going to keep around when Starship's going? I don't know. They might clear that backlog pretty fast, right? It's a tough question. I'm talking myself back and forth.
Is this a tough question? Are you ever going to take the over on an Elon Musk prediction?
No.
Never do that.
Never will. No.
Never do that. Never do that. All right. We've got a very specific Aravale. How do I say this? I don't know. This is going to show up enormous, I think, in the broadcast because this is how I have it sized right now. But we've got a very specific 164 Falcons estimate or prediction here. I'll put you down. I'll put you in the doc. 64 Falcons. Jake says under when bullied by Anthony.
And in your broadcast software, you can copy that tweet display as a separate thing, and we can just let it sit there for the whole year, and then we can put it back up on the screen.
That's how it works.
You can put it back up on the screen at the 2026 show, and it'll be funny.
All right. Failures or mishaps this year, Jake. There were 3 things last year. So we had
3 Falcons, right?
3 Falcon issues last year. Yeah, this is just Falcon concerned. We had the upper stage liquid oxygen leak. We had the booster landing failure, and then the second stage reentry issue on a crew mission where they missed their deorbit zone. So I think those, if I remember correctly, the upper stage one was like a week or 2 of downtime.
They were all kind of in that range, weren't they? Like kind of like
It got less over time.
5 to 15 day sort of situation.
There were some gaps. Do you think
Which, by the way, is like insane.
Unbelievable, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, I think if I'm going to be fair here, in years gone by, we all took note when ULA started having a lot of scrubs at the launch pad, and we were giving them shit for this, that they used to never scrub, and now they always scrub. Mm-hmm. And we took that as a trend of this is how this company is getting. Do you believe that the 3 issues that happened this year is the start of a trend, or is it merely a factor of how many Falcons are flying?
I think it was the start of a trend, and they would have nipped it in the bud. I'm guessing that three mishaps in a year for Falcon, I think, crossed it over into the unacceptable territory, and changes were probably made. That's my guess. Because my original theory on that, by the way, I don't know if we talked about this. My original theory on that was that the A team is all in Boca Chica, and
I don't even think that's a theory. I think that's
that's
a thing. Yeah.
And then we were starting to see that in the production line, but I think that might have been backfilled to ensure that doesn't happen again, because it's the funny thing with a flight rate like Falcon is that like a failure like that, losing 2 weeks of flight is like a big freaking deal. Like yeah, that's that. We kind of joke about how it's like, oh, they're such good engineers. They got back from their failures so quickly, and it's like that might have been more of a financial decision than a technical one. You know, like it's time to get moving. Like you need to solve this problem tonight.
We only make money when we're flying, so
yeah.
Really
funny.
All right, so are you going no flawless year for Falcon?
No, let's do over under, and let's put it at 1.5, and I'll take the under.
Oh shit, man. I'm just saying flawless year.
Do it.
I think they're on it.
There's no rules about these. You can do whatever you want.
Flawless year. I mean, they had a run of flawless years, so this is not a stupid prediction. This is just historical trends.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? All right, collection of Starship things, Jake. I wrote down orbit, payload deployments, refueling demo, moon, question mark. Do you have any
orbit,
particular?
Yes.
Okay, all right, we're just doing them all. Love it.
Yeah. Payload deployment, yes. Unless you don't count the Pez dispenser test next week. Is that a payload? It only says deployment on this list. It doesn't say deployed into something good. Refueling demo. Yeah, I think so. Moon, no. Yes, no. That's
you think the refueling demo is going to happen?
The demo? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Talk me through that. How's this? Is they got another launch pad up and running? They're launching these two starships within a couple weeks of each other.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of just knocking it out one after the other on the same pad. Got it. You got it. Again, like the all the financials of this company are built on speed. Like, you can't just piss around and do suborbital ops on these things forever. Like, it's time to go. You know. And there's now there's
onesie-twosie about it though.
Yeah, but there's prestige to it now too, because like, here's the thing: in a couple weeks, Elon can no longer complain about the FAA, you know? Because him and team are now in charge of it all.
I don't know, Jake. If we're putting that in the prediction document, Elon complains about the FAA this year. I'll put that down as one of them. Elon complains about FAA. Jake says no.
I mean, he can't. Okay, so
I'm just saying it seems likely that it will involve the deep state.
Well, look, we got in there and looked around, man, and it was so bad. It's going to take us months to clean all this up. So for right now, it's still bad.
I think that the other, I mean, in support of you, they seem to have the path cleared to being approved for as much as they can do this year. Like, because the 25 approval that was like circulated, but I don't think that's official yet, right? We just think it will be soon. The 25 launch approval, or is it official? Official.
I think it
was it signed off, or was it like we intend to? I don't remember.
Because it was, I don't think there was a lot of ceremony around it, because they just modified the existing one and just said like everything was fine. We just put a 2 in front of the 5 and we're good to go, right?
So I don't think any of us would bet that they fly more than 25 times in 2026. No. So I don't know that there will be as active of complaining as there was this year, just because they have the stack in front of them of like what they need to get through this year is a lot bigger than the things they need to ask allowance for that they haven't already.
Yeah.
But I still do think he will have some FAA deep state.
They're gonna
stuff.
fly a lot because they got this 25 flight approval from the Biden administration. So
It's cleared. All right. So you say the refueling demo is going to happen. Do you want to flaunt on that and tell me the timeline? Like first launch, second launch is 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose you could even do a demo with one, right? Just transfer it from one side of the ship to the other. But you mean two ships docking, though, is what you're asking,
Yeah,
right?
docking. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. A week's situation. I'll put one in orbit and then...
Like a Gemini style
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Which one was that?
Couple of
Gemini
weeks.
6A and 6B? Were those the two that...
Well, there was the ones that, 6 and 7 flew next to each other, right?
Something
And
like
then
that,
there was
yeah.
the ones that docked with a Gina, and sometimes a Gina would launch, and then they would launch like an orbit later.
Yeah,
It's
that
like-
was wild.
It was stupidly
By the
close
way,
together.
like, go back in time in 1960 and tell someone that, like,
That was awesome.
90 minutes later, so the
good
ground tracks
stuff.
lined up? Shut up. That's crazy.
All right, I think you sold me on it being the only and really important thing this year for them to do.
No, the other important thing is to get through reentry. Let's be clear. Like, that's...
an end to a tower. Because you don't think they got through reentry? You wouldn't say they did that this past year?
I mean, not without non-trivial damage. Like, that feels unsolved still. They're close, but it feels unsolved.
Okay. That's such an interesting take.
Really?
Because I would have bet, if you asked me how Jake felt about that, I would have said that he feels that what they've done so far is close enough to solved that it's pretty much solved. Like, the delta between where they're at now and where they need to be is tiny compared to where they were and where they are now.
I don't know, man, because, like, we don't have one of these ships to like know that for sure. There's so much uncertainty with that still. Like, the last one we saw, yes, it, like, performed and did the flip and did the soft touchdown and stuff, but, like, it was pretty clearly, like, suffering damage. And, like, if they finally get one of those back and they go through it and, like, yeah, like, everything's fucking burnt to shit, like, you know, that's an issue, right? And maybe it's not, maybe it's fine, but there's the uncertainty there. It tells me that it's not solved.
And they are, on this next flight coming up next week, they are testing new heat shield stuff. So
Yeah, if they're changing heat shield stuff, even if they're just doing, like, iterations, that means it's not solved. Like,
all right,
Yeah.
fair. Well, you convinced me on the refueling demo. You don't think that they'll just send anything towards the moon? Let me riddle me this, Jake. They refuel a Starship. Then what? They
Well,
just fly 'em back. They fly
they're
both
not-
back.
they're not going to refuel it enough. If you need freaking 12 of these or whatever to send HLS to the moon, like, you're going to have to do
What
a
if you
bunch
did
of these.
no payload and you did a free return Starship flight?
Maybe, but what does that get you though?
Freaking amazing pictures and incredible
Yeah.
press, and you tested out
Maybe.
your systems in deep space.
I don't know if that solves enough test objectives.
All right, fair enough. I kind of agree with you, but the reason I'm going to say no to my own thing is that I thought all along that they would do that, something like that, to Mars, just because.
Mars is way different though.
I know it's way different, but they operate more satellites than anyone has ever operated in the entire history of humanity. They have the currently active biggest rocket, two of the biggest rockets that have ever flown. And they say they're all about Mars, and they've never sent a hunk of metal towards Mars.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, what the fuck? Like, can we not do a flyby just to do a flyby? And this was the guy who started a company that wanted to land a greenhouse on Mars
Again,
just
no.
for the PR of it.
If you
and-
just fly it by, like we've kind of done that with the stupid car, right? Because I mean, it didn't actually
No,
go by
we
Mars.
haven't.
But, like,
That's what I'm saying. Come on. One camera,
But-
satellite, Mars.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Well, then,
I think
their
for Mars
prices
and the
are
moon,
bullshit.
you gotta either put it in the orbit or land it for it to be. And even if you just try and it crashes, whatever. But, like, you gotta try something. You can't just whiz by it. It's not enough.
For what though? I'm saying like as a thing. What if like I don't know. This is the thing I've always been annoyed at. Like this Peter Beck's out here trying to scrounge up cash for a Venus mission. And this company has spacecraft and rockets that are capable of flying one of those spacecraft by Mars for, even if it's going to be ridiculed as a publicity stunt, which I'm saying it purely would be. I'm supportive of this, even if just for a publicity stunt, is my point. 100%. Fly by Mars, gravity assist to solar orbit, no one will ever see it again. You got one epic photo of you at Mars. Why not? Just do that thing. I think this is the SpaceX bias that I see in the industry, is that they don't get shit for not ever having flown anything by Mars when that was their one sole mission. And Blue Origin gets all the shit for not having reached orbit, which has only recently become their mission. That is the media bias, or the community bias that I see in the space industry, and I'm here to stand for. That's what I'm saying.
I think eventually there will absolutely be like just chuck something at Mars, not the moon, Mars, yes, just because it's different for them. But I don't think they're there yet.
All right. Well,
because it's going to be a starship. They're not going to like take a Falcon and send something stupid over there. That's not worth their time. Falcons,
no, but a Starlink by Mars, a Starlink by Mars is worth it.
Yeah. Maybe.
How much does a Starlink cost? Somebody had this unit cost the other day, right? Or Tom Mueller was tweeting out the unit cost of Starlinks. It was like low, what was it, hundreds of thousands or something? One time somebody told us like a Prius amount of money, and that didn't track. But it was like a fancy car amount of money for these satellites.
Yeah. Like a Porsche SUV.
Take the oldest booster you've got, and your cost is one upper stage. And how much engineering would they need to turn a Starlink into something that could communicate back to the DSN?
I don't know. Sounds like there's some dev work there. I don't know.
There is, but come on. Anyway,
I am surprised we haven't seen enough. Like, we haven't seen more about whatever the Mars version of Starlink has to be. Like,
yeah.
There's 0% chance there's not a plan written down somewhere or work already started on like how they want to communicate from Mars to Earth, right? So,
well, there were the commercial studies that were announced last year. So, would you like to take a 2025 stance on the result of those commercial studies?
What was the timeline on that? Will those due back sometime soon?
I believe so.
Now I don't remember. I'm gonna look those up. Mars commercial.
That was out of JPL, right?
NASA.
Yeah, that was in May. So it was announced in May. 12 studies between $200,000 and $300,000 for a
12-week studies. So they're already back.
Oh, they're back. Do you think JPL has been a little busy for two different topics? One, surviving. The other, Mars sample return.
I thought you were going to say
the LA area.
I thought you were going to say priority 1, surviving. Priority 2, the fires.
Not wrong. A little insensitive. Not wrong. Everybody listening, we love you.
Oh, jeez.
For real though, those are horrific fires. I hope everyone's doing all right.
They're really bad.
Terrifying.
Yeah. It's
apocalypse.
I saw a small tangent. So I saw like a video, like just to
most of the
understand
rest of this fucking show, Jake.
No, just about the fires though, right? So like, because I don't always, I mean, I came from a fireplace in Canada too, but this was wild because like there was this video, it was like a McDonald's and there was like palm trees out front of it and the palm trees were on fire. The winds were so strong and fast, like that the palm trees were bent over and it was just like a spray of embers, just like it was like someone had a hose of fire embers just spraying into the, like, I'm like, oh, that's why it's spreading so fast.
Yeah.
Because there's just these
right
like fire hoses with fire coming out of them and they're just spraying the entire valley. Like it's crazy. Yikes.
Nuts.
Anyway. Yeah. Hopefully everything's fine there.
Horrifying. So maybe we'll hear back about these studies soon. They were concluding in August.
Another Mars thing that Bill Nelson dropped the ball on. Here we go.
Well, okay. So here there was 12 companies. We had small payload delivery, Lockheed Martin, Impulse, Firefly. We had large payload delivery, ULA, Blue Origin, Astrobotic. We had Mars Surface Imaging Services, Albedo, Redwire, Astrobotic, and next generation relay services from SpaceX, Lockheed, and Blue Origin. Does anything come of any of this year?
This year? Oh, yeah, I would say definitely.
Okay.
I mean, this is the administration that's going to pick this up, right?
Well, that's what I'm trying to shape out here.
Yeah.
We all talk about how Mars is going to get a renewed focus under the Trump Elon regime. What does that actually entail? Does that We'll get to Mars sample return in a couple minutes, but like,
what does that entail? There's the $1 million question.
Should we save this topic for Mars sample return because it might be related? Let's save that. Save this.
Yeah.
Save this.
All right.
Save this.
All right.
Let's do some speed rounds here on moon landers. We got a lot of moon landers.
We do have a lot of moon landers.
Okay. We got a Firefly mission in a week.
Do we need to define success before we do this?
You can salt the taste on this. Blue Ghost.
I'm gonna say not full success.
Any details?
Somewhere between Astrobotic and IM-1. Somewhere between Peregrine and IM-1.
Okay. So makes it out of Earth orbit but doesn't land?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's just going to be a typical something went wrong on final descent, hard landing, no data recovered.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Which ones? There's two flying together, right?
Yeah, so Firefly Blue Ghost is flying alongside the second iSpace mission. This is Hakuto R. But they're taking vastly different trajectories to the moon, which is hilarious. So the Hakuto R will not arrive for 4 to 5 months after launch.
Is iSpace, that's not Eclipse one, right? Or is that just a...
No. This is the second mission after they flew theirs in... When did they fly their original?
So let's see. I'm doing the... So Peregrine flew on Vulcan. IM-1 flew on Falcon. Blue Ghost flew on Falcon. iSpace on Falcon. Is SpaceX the biggest beneficiary from the Eclipse program?
Unless our new friend Matt works out at Astroforge, then maybe they are.
Oh dear.
So Hakuto R M1 launched in December 2022, impacted in April of 2023. So actually not that long ago. I'm trying to remember what went wrong with this though. Landing attempt. I
don't remember that one.
Lost contact. It was determined that the lander plummeted uncontrollably when the propellant was exhausted.
Ran out of fuel. Okay.
Yeah. I think they're going to do better this time.
They did the KSP thing and just mounted a couple more radial ones just to top up that last few percent.
I think they're going to make it. I'm saying they're going to make it.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Second flight, always a much better chance.
Let's go. Come on.
It's safe.
Come on, iSpace. Stick this.
IM-2, also going to make it.
Full success?
Over under on Peregrine.
I think they're going to do a better job this time. So they're going to go to the Shackleton Connecting Ridge, Jake. This is the first of the Shackleton missions, which I'm pumped about.
Connecting Ridge, is that one of the Artemis landing sites?
What was the difference between a landing site and a region?
Oh God, I don't remember.
It's in the mix there because I think that the Connecting Ridge is one of the areas that's illuminated for like almost eternity.
Yeah.
Is that true still? This didn't get moved since I made notes, right?
I don't think so.
Connecting Ridge near Shackleton Crater, close to the South Pole. Look at that. That's gonna be rad. I think they're gonna make it. They gotta make it.
They do gotta.
They gotta make it. You say they do, Phil?
I think they will. Also, they have to.
They're gonna do it. All right, but on that mission is the Astroforge mission. Odin, as we talked with Matt about. What do you think?
This is the one that's just doing like is this the flyby take pictures one? Is that what it is?
Yep.
So it's going to go past the moon and go out somewhere to some.
It's going to do a flyby of a near-Earth asteroid that we don't know the name of yet because they think they're going to get pirated if they do say which mission or which asteroid it is. Successful flyby or not.
You're going to get pirated in the fierce competitive landscape of mining asteroids. Firms rush to grab asteroids before it's too late.
Do they make it or not?
Do they make it? No.
No. Okay.
I'm going to say they fly out and target something, but some sort of failure en route cripples the mission.
Wow. Cripples the mission.
Cripples the mission.
What a description. I'm going full success. They fly by this thing. Everyone's victorious, and they're an epic space company.
See, the problem with my take on this is that when we have Matt back later, you look good and I look like the asshole, regardless of what happens.
That was already the case before our predictions, but
I don't get any brownie points, even if I'm right.
No, knowing his aura, he's probably like, that was a good take. I would have bet that too.
That's literally what I bet. I wrote it down.
All right, you think anything else flies to the moon this year? IM-3, Griffin Mission 1, any lunar pathfinders, a blue moon?
No, nothing else. It's going to be like last year. We could knock a few out from the beginning of the year.
I'm going to make a ridiculous prediction, which is that Blue Origin flies a blue moon-shaped object at the moon.
Ooh. Okay. Some sort of like test article?
Like maybe just a descent stage.
A mass simulator?
Something. They do something blue moon-shaped to the moon.
Because they have to so they're going to launch this thing, whatever this is, the blue ring, whatever. Then they got to do Escapade.
Yep.
So you're saying there's a third flight this year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to say no on that one.
Here's the thing. I think our theory all along about Blue Origin and New Glenn specifically was that it's going to be nothing, and then all of a sudden it arrives. And I think
I have a name for this theory, by the way. It's called the suddenly Blue Origin theory.
I still think we're onto something there.
Okay.
Because again, the test and the lead up to actual launch here for New Glenn has been 2 weeks longer than we would all hope, but it's been 2 weeks longer. Like that's it.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
that's great. During the holidays, it's good times. So now they're waiting on the wave conditions to fly this thing. That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
So,
but remember what the other thing that you always say, that it's always about the time between the second and the third flight, which is
yes. Agree. But I feel like a lot of times when they're tweeting photos of their hardware, there's other stuff in the picture. There's like another tank or another stage or another this. So this compounds with my theory that I don't really know what other customers they have to fly this year. You know, a lot of their launch agreements announced were like a memorandum of understanding about this or an agreement with that company that will fly 5 things, but no details on it.
Yeah.
Escapade is still going to launch because that had basically no launch window, right? Like they could launch whatever.
They're
with that
apparently
thing.
just going to throw fuel at the problem and invent their own launch window, I think is what it looks like. Yeah.
Cut right through the pork chop.
Yeah.
You're going regardless of what the pork chop plots say.
Yeah. They're just cost benefit analysis. That's all it is.
So
they're going to do vegetarian on this one.
Here's what I think. They get this launch off in January. This will double as my Blue Origin prediction since we are rapidly running out of time in the show. They get this New Glenn off in January. They get the next off in May, and round us out with like an October blue moon shaped thing towards the moon.
You're out to lunch.
I'm going for it, man. Come on. Come with me on one or two of these.
I'm not denouncing this one. I'm denouncing this very strongly.
Like a Civilization 6 style. You have been denounced. Okay, give it to me.
We're ending the show early.
What is my problem? Please, yeah, enlighten me.
I think there are only like 3 rockets in production line right now. I think so this is like depending on completely clearing out the production line. It doesn't account for just regular delays that it takes between second and third flights.
Okay.
The fastest rocket company we know only did 2 in the first year.
But they blew their launch pad up on the first launch.
And we don't
shot their launch pad out into the ocean.
We don't yet know what things are going to screw up on this flight or the next one.
Okay.
And mark my words, something will screw up on these New Glenn flights.
Uh-huh.
I'm just playing the odds here, man. I'm just playing the odds.
I know. You're playing the odds in the way I did with my SpaceX predictions. I've always been annoyingly a little bit more hopeful at Blue
you
Origin.
asked me, are you ever going to take the over on an Elon prediction? And I'm asking you now, are you ever going to take the over on a New Glenn prediction? Because I don't think anybody's planning that.
I think I always have, which is my inherent problem, that I just want them to be the thing that we all want them to be. You know? I don't think January and May. I did. I put it in the doc.
All right.
I guess the problem with my theory is that it entails the first one working. Because they wouldn't. The second one. Would they fly? Well, would they? Well, NASA was willing to fly Escapade on the first mission, but they didn't for schedule reasons. Or are they unwilling to fly it on the first mission?
My understanding was that the rocket wasn't ready. And that both makes sense and also doesn't, because apparently you can just fly whenever, so why wouldn't they just wait for it? But like, if they can fly in May, why can't they fly now? I don't know, but
I'm sticking with my thing. You just said, so what are you saying? It's the first one fails and then they never fly another one?
No, I'm just saying that.
Or what?
I just say it's the 3 flights in this year is the green lights to Malibu scenario. Yeah. There's going to be some kind of red light along there.
So do they get a second one off?
A second one, maybe. Yeah. If things go well with the first one, I think I can see a second one this year. Yeah.
Okay. What a half-ass prediction that was. All right, you can pick what you want to predict next, Jake. You want to predict any appearance of any new rockets, like Neutron? Would you like to predict?
There's nothing going on there.
Acquisitions, ULA, Boeing Space up for sale.
The ULA one is good. Yeah, actually, is there a major Boeing transaction? That's your prediction, right? Could be whatever their other stuff is, or it could be ULA. Is there a major Boeing space transaction?
So the last we heard on the
sale
Boeing
sale specifically, I guess, right?
They were gonna sell everything except SLS and the ISS. What was it? Those were the 2 excluded, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
So that would
the ones they're making money on. Yes.
The ones with contracts that continue to pay money.
Yeah, the cost plus contracts.
But that would include their half of ULA. My theory is that this is why the ULA transaction didn't happen, by the way. Is that once that started getting close, Boeing realized maybe we want to sell more than just ULA. I have a stupid... I don't know. The only person I can think... All right. Here's what I think. I told this to Caleb Henry, and I talked the other day about other stuff, and I got onto this topic, and I told him a theory that I want to repeat here for what should happen in the Jeff Bezos cinematic universe. I think half of Blue Origin should get rolled off and be part of the Bezos Earth Fund, and the other half should just get sold to Amazon. or be consumed by Amazon, and Amazon should buy the rest of the Boeing space stuff. Amazon is more of a government contractor than Blue Origin is. They have more of a business need, and Amazon, in the way that McDonald's is a real estate company, Amazon is an infrastructure company. So there's the whole part of Bezos' vision of like move all the factories off of Earth and make it a national park, and that's more Bezos Earth Fund. Like, be the think tank you want to be.
Yeah.
The operational space side of you should just be Amazon branded.
Bundled up with Boeing.
Yeah. Take all the Boeing stuff. Keep it all Seattle area.
It's not crazy. Yeah, I don't hate that. Because then you get all the, if you buy the ULA, but if you buy the ULA and all the the New Glenn launches for Kuiper. Yeah.
The government contract
I
from
still,
Boeing.
my only problem with that is I disagree with you fundamentally on that. Amazon was the ULA buyer. I still don't think that makes sense. It doesn't compute with me still. Like, I've had lots of smart people like tell me like here's 15 bullet points on why this is correct. And I'm just like, I don't believe you. It doesn't make sense to me. No, I have not been convinced on the Amazon wants Vulcan. So, yeah.
All right. So you think anything happens in this vein?
In this vein, no, I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say this is the year that a major Boeing transaction happens. There's too much. Time's running out.
The other reason that this happens is that mergers and acquisitions are back on the menu in this.
He just said murgers.
Murgers. I was thinking of Eric Murger. They're back on the menu, right?
Yeah.
The tech world's been fearing the wrath of Lena Khan. The
political world is correct for it. The financial world is correct for it. The Boeing balance sheet is correct for it.
Yeah, it has to happen this year. This is the moment.
Time is running out.
Yeah. And we're saying announced, because this shit is not going to close for 2 years when it gets announced. So we're saying announcement of sale, acquisition.
Yeah, announcement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily announcement, but we learn about it. An Eric Berger leak will count as an announcement.
Eric Murger.
Eric Murger leak.
All right, let's lightning round some over-unders, Jake.
All right.
We will start. Let me prep my notes here. We will start. I made this is your old terminal count style, Jake. I made a list of things to bet over-under on. Over under 120 Amazon Kuiper satellites launched this year.
Under.
Over under. Okay, that's the only one that I had a number set for. So the rest of these, you're gonna set the number, and I'm gonna pick a direction.
Right.
Russian failures.
2.5.
And I'm going under. Going under.
All right.
Yeah.
Think they're tightening their belts over there?
No, they don't do a lot.
Yeah. So there's nothing left to screw up.
They can't really break stuff that isn't there.
They're going to fly under 0.5 women to the space station, so there's not really a lot to screw.
Small launch company demises.
1.5.
Okay. Remember, on this, much like Eric at the beginning of the show, if you've nailed within 0.5 of the number, you get credit for being smart. Sure. So, right. Okay. 1.5. So that's like... All right. Well, ABL's already demised. So I'm thinking that this is the year that Relativity, there's all this like drama in the press about is it Eric Schmidt funding Relativity. I think they are out of the launch business this year. So I'm crediting Relativity as one. And then who else would fold?
Someone else thing. We're running out of them is the problem.
I'm taking the over, and it'll be like a European one or something, and I'll win on minutia.
Love it. Okay.
How many of our friends fly to space?
Ooh.
We had one, Emily Calandrelli.
1.5. I'll stay there again.
1.5. Um, ah, screw it. I'll go the over. I'll be optimistic.
Love it.
NASA projects or programs canceled.
That's a tough one. Because it's going to be like, oh, yeah, some Earth observation CubeSat didn't make it to the launch pad or something.
You can go programs if you just want to say programs. I don't know what's happening to the sound. Nothing changed at our end. I think it's a YouTube thing. I'm hearing Jake. Jake's heard me, so that's getting recorded locally. I don't know what happened. We apologize. If you want to say just programs, you can go just programs.
Let's go like 3.5.
3.5. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under.
I'll take the over then. Let's
okay. Crew was never in danger statements.
Crew was never in danger. Let's do 2.5.
2. Is that related to your Russian failures? Did you pick the same amount?
Yeah.
Crew was never in danger.
There's definitely going to be some like, I don't know, like
Fram 2. There's Fram 2 though. We're going polar with humans this year, Jake.
But does space? It's not a NASA mission. Does SpaceX do the crew is never in danger?
That's true. They might if it gets really hairy. 2.5. That's tough. I'm going over. I'm gonna say there's like an orbital debris conjunction alert. There's an increase in the leak amount.
Yeah, the leak goes up for sure.
And then a Progress mission gets manually docked or something, but in a chaotic way. So I'll take the over.
A Progress mission accidentally manually docks.
What was my first one? I had leaks go up.
Orbital debris.
Mission, orbital debris conjunction. Yeah, goes chaotic. Okay. All right.
Over and under on NASA centers closed. Oh my god.
I don't know, man. 0.
I'm taking under. Under. Yeah.
It's under 0. They're gonna.
I don't need an over under. 0 NASA centers will be closed this year.
Not the battle they're gonna fight.
No.
Yeah.
Why would you?
All right, we got single-digit minutes, Jake. If you want to lay out a hot take on Mars temperature, or we can save it to next week.
We could go into it next week, but I do have a blog post out. So if you go to
let's plug that.
My blog, jakerobbins.com. So yeah, I mean, we had that update, right? And it was underwhelming. There are this picture, man.
It's unreal. It also crops right at his nose on your site.
Yeah, you got to do the right viewport size to get the.
I kind of like this better. He looks like the guy from Home Improvement.
Oh dear. Yeah, no. The short of this is that Bill Nelson did not do any favors to this project, and it can go a lot of different directions. So I kind of talk a little bit about that. I don't know, what's the preview in this? You read it. What do you want to fight me on? How's that?
I don't think I want to fight you on anything, but I do. I don't know. I think we've been very similarly minded about. Your take is that the cost projections are completely made up in this assessment of like we just magically saved $4 billion and we won't explain the one weird trick we used to do that. So correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the studies that happened, some of those were about the Mars ascent vehicle, right?
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them were specifically like, here's how we can make the math better.
I feel like we need more detail on that because the entire announcement that was laid out was we've unlocked some new architecture because the MAV got simpler and smaller, and we're doing. Yeah. I don't know. There's this weird like we're going to contain the dust in a different way, so we don't have to clean it because it'll never be exposed to dust. Is that actually like a $4 billion problem?
This is what I don't understand. Like I mean, we're talking such big numbers that it's easy to get lost in that. It's like, oh, well, it was 11 before. Now it's going to be 7.7. Okay, that sounds like it's like, okay, but that's $4 billion. Like, that is not we tightened up our testing process and used off the shelf cameras. Like, like that's that's
Right.
$4 billion. Okay. So that, that either tells you that that the previous plan was so far off the rails, like just even more than we thought, or
Completely
like
made
there's
up.
more, or there's more to this than just we made the math smaller, right? So it's interesting because like even if that, if this new thing, we got the sky crane, so we don't have to reinvent that. We don't have to reinvent. We can have a small lander now and just grab something that we've already done. Smaller, like that's all easy. Like that, at best to me, that saves you like $1 to $2 billion because it's like a whole other mission you don't have to invent. Like because Perseverance was $2.5 billion, so that's like a good cost frame for you for like how much it costs to develop, a whole new landing platform on its own from scratch, right?
Riddle me this though, okay? I remember in the lore of Jake Robbins, there was a We Martians episode about the EDL sequence at Mars and that 70-degree sphere cone and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Part of this announcement was like the sky crane will work. We just need to make it capable of 20% more mass. Is that in the realm of possibilities? Wasn't there? I feel like I remember from your We Martians episode, we were at the upper limit of something in that 70-degree sphere cone architecture. Was it the diameter? Was this with the Atlas V diameter? This is the most we can do, and because we will have by the time this launches 2 7 to 9 meter launch vehicles. Like,
Yeah, the diameter is an issue. Like they definitely filled up the Atlas fairing, and I guess now the Falcon fairing, right, which is roughly the same size diameter, right?
Same exact size, yeah. But when they say we just need to upgrade this 20%, is that even what is the path to that? Is that same shape but better engines, or is that they actually do need more diameter, more mass to Mars?
My guess is that the toughest part's going to be making the parachute work with the extra mass. That's my guess.
Okay.
I mean, you put a little more fuel on the sky crane, and that kind of solves the whatever, as long as your thrust is okay. Maybe you have to upgrade the engines a little bit, but that feels like a lot simpler of a solution. You still have to engineer it, but like how you do it is not difficult. But the parachute,
is clear.
They already had so much trouble with parachutes. The parachutes are just a nightmare, right? And so,
20% is just so much, though.
I don't know.
No,
there was margin before, obviously, right? So,
okay,
and they now have 2 production flights of sky crane, so they can tighten up the margins a bit. They can probably take half of that from margins, right?
Your best question in this article is, why did we only think about this option now? That is the one that keeps you coming back of like, so there was some bullshit going on here.
Well, and so someone in our Discord helpfully pointed out that there are some feed forward from Ingenuity going into this. So I guess there are some like new avionics or whatever. Ingenuity is basically like an Android phone with a rotor on top of it. So basically, like there's something from that they can now use on this, and they're reducing costs, which is great. And so maybe that's why like part of that is now and not 3 years ago. But it's still like, again, $4 billion. Okay, so
it's a ton. Yeah.
Where is that coming from? And that's not bringing in SpaceX to help. That's $4 billion savings with all the same people working on this project. Like, no personnel change. It's still JPL, it's still Marshall, it's still HQ. Like, no other change other than we just like. Okay, I'm just very confused about that. But
the good news in all this, Jake, is that you got one out the door, one last data point for the time when we get Eric Berger to come on this show and argue about whether or not we were correct that Bill Nelson was a bad NASA administrator. This was the most politician-y way to go about this, in that
oh god, I was so mad.
The presence that he took on the MSR era was, he figured out that this program was going in a bad direction, and he requested a rethink of the architectures. And
what a
we'll
hero.
Save it for the next guy to decide on how it should go.
What a hero.
But I was the one.
The next guy up for,
I totally did. Yeah. That is like tell me that this guy worked in Congress for all of his life without telling me that this guy worked in Congress his entire life. Yeah, that's.
And he also blamed Congress there at the end, right? He was like,
yeah, right.
The ball's in Congress court now. If they fund it, it will work, and if they don't, oh come on, buddy, they got lots of funding.
That felt
project swimming in money.
That felt very shitty to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good.
So we'll see when Eric wants to come in.
We'll bring back a friend to talk about Mars sample return and other things, and we'll get into it more. But go read the blog post.
A lot happening though, Jake. We got that New Glenn, another Starship. What else is gonna happen?
New NASA administrator.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been kind of quiet. A little quiet.
Yeah, we still have to get to inauguration. Let's hang in there. One news article at a time.
Well,
yikes.
That's what we got, peeps.
Cool.
Let us know your over takes on what we laid out there. Feel free to chime in. Yeah. Got anything else? Discord. Plug the Discord.
Offnom.com/Discord. Come join us. $5 a month or $25 if you're a big spender.
Never fly rideshare.
If you're a Mars sample return level of funding and you wanna help us out.
Flagship Plus.
It's exactly like Mars sample return. You can pay $5, you pay $25. The outcome's the same.
We'll get it back. We know where Peter Beck's signing up. All right, y'all. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.